Hey, welcome back for another episode of Business Resilience in the New Normal. It's been fantastic so far, and I know today is going to be another great episode. So, again, if you haven't watched the previous episode, I'm here to introduce myself. My name is Flavilla Fongang, and I'm the founder of Free Colors, who know me as a brand strategist, mentor, speaker, podcast host, a lot of things. But again, as I said before, it's not about me. Today, I have with me Tony Collard, which I know for a very long time, a great friend of mine as well. He's the sales director of Ethos. And Ethos is literally based inside the city. How are you, Tony?
Yeah, we're good. Thank you, Flavilla. We've not been to the city for a while, so we're out of the city now and working from home and doing our thing from home.
Yes. How's it been for you? Because obviously, I remember when I come to visit you in your office, it's always such a big buzz. You guys are on different floors. So it must have been a bit of adjustment, but at the same time, you are specialized in office solutions. So I'm interested in, understanding and discovering what you've done and what you put in place as well.
Yeah, it's been an interesting time for us. Like you say, we're based in the heart of the city of London, but we've been used to remote and distributed working for a long time now. We provide office solutions across our group of companies. Part of our business is telephony, so we've been able to switch people over to working remotely very, very quickly because that's a function within the group. Yeah. We have offices elsewhere in the country, so we've been able to utilise those offices. And it's almost we've kicked into like a business continuity situation, really. There's something that happened that stopped us from getting to our offices, but it didn't stop us from going to work, and it hasn't stopped us from functioning as a business.
That is so important. And that leads me to the next question. How should companies prepare themselves during and after lockdown? I think the situation, nobody was prepared for it, but it doesn't mean that we cannot learn from it and just be more prepared, more ready.
I think you've just got to be prepared for the unexpected. Now, how much time and effort you put into that, well, that's down to everyone's propensity for risk, and that's a board level decision. But very much, we've been looking at our business continuity plans. We always do. Yeah. Probably we have heightened awareness because of the fact we're in London and some of the unfortunate things that have happened in London over the years. It's meant that we've always kept a very close eye on business continuity. We had no idea what was going to happen in lockdown, the same as everybody else. Yeah. But we've just been able to put those plans into action and then process accordingly. The thing that I think I'd say to everybody is there's no right and wrong answer, and you've just got to expect the unexpected. A very good friend of mine the other day said to me, be comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think that was a great piece of advice, and just get used to this new normal, whatever it means, and be prepared to innovate and be prepared to adapt.
Absolutely. Do you know, it's so funny because that's actually one of my say. I always say to get comfortable getting uncomfortable. And then it's something that I always say as well. And it's very important that if you get too comfortable in any situation, you never really learn or you never, improve yourself. And I think the situation, no matter where we are, we've learned a lot, in terms of what we can do. And I think there's also a new vision of, do I actually need to come to the city? I think, I don't know for you, but I still like to come to the city as much as, I like to work from home or I like to work in the office. But I love, the heart of the city. So this is a question that everybody is asking. So I think it's just your adaptation around, how often people come to work, and they still need to come to the office. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do. But it will change, and the way that people work will be modified. That the office will still remain a central hub. It may not be a place that people go to on such a regular basis. And they may work from various locations, but we shouldn't forget that for some people it's not possible to work from home. Yeah. Some people don't like working from home. Some people need the interaction and motivation of being around colleagues. Some people, very unfortunately, don't have a domestic situation that enables they can work clearly from home. So each person will have their own individual factors. For me, on a personal level, I certainly haven't missed a 6:34 train every morning into the city. And maybe I'll assess some of my life balance going forward. But the City of London will remain important. It's a financial hub, one of the main financial hubs in the world. That's not going to change. It may just be modified in the way that we approach it and the amount of time that we spend there.
That's so true. And I can't agree more with you, Tony. I think there's the element of flexibility and choice. That's what people will be looking for. And that's not so much an option as we didn't say before. How can they improve and maintain business continuity whether or not we're hit by another peak? I think you've answered that question, but I don't know if there's anything else that you want to add to that.
I just think you've got to be flexible. You've got to be agile. You've got to take on board new ways of thinking. You've also got to have to discuss it with your staff and be aware of their concerns and issues. And again, it won't be one size fits all. Individuals will have a different approach to risk. They will have a different personal situation. Some people may have vulnerable people they live with. They may have, wives who are pregnant. It's not going to be one size fits all. So you've really got to think outside the box and maintain that flexibility and agility, whilst at the same time staying in business and serving your customers.
Definitely. Can I just bring it back towards more the office solutions that you provide? Is there anything that you offer that people might find useful in maintaining that business continuity?
Business continuity, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think the telephony stuff that I spoke about earlier on, that's been essential, because literally at the flip of a switch, whether you're working in the office or you're working from home, you're in contact with your customers and your customers can get hold of you. The client has no idea where physically you are sitting. So that has been an absolute godsend for us.
Yes.
Also, we have an office furniture business. Yes. And as people look at the return to work, then that's an area that's getting a lot of focus, because people will be looking at, first of all, how can they make their spaces COVID secure?
Yes.
That will be social distancing signage. It will be different layouts of furniture. It will be guards and sneeze guards and that kind of thing. Absolutely, that's where we work. And going forward, there'll be less people in the office and there'll be a different way of using that space. So all of those things are things that we are very actively talking to our clients about at the moment.
So important. I definitely agree. I think there's going to be a new layout, a new visual in terms of our office will look like. And I think, we talk about office in the office, but what about office at home? That's something as well that you provide?
Yeah, it's a really good point. We've seen a lot of our customers obviously working from home. They've required a lot of the services that we can provide, whether that's from digital document management, whether it's home furniture. Yeah. At the end of the day, people need a chair to sit on and a desk to work at. We provide a lot of that. People still want to print documents at home. We can do that. Yeah. People want to manage documents now. I think there's more of a focus on managing documents digitally. Yeah. And we can help with setting up those workflows and helping people move those documents around the business. So there's lots to be done, as you rightly say, and the split between the home office and the office hub, whatever that ends up.
Yes, there's a conversation that I had as well. One of the previous clients talked about data protection, because I think there's also something that you do around cybersecurity. And remember we had a conversation about how sometimes the printer can be the way into a network. So when we're looking now at external people probably moving to a cloud or things like that, is it something that you also, as a solution, look into? Is it something that you can advise as well if people have?
Yeah, very much so, Favilla. So the securing of print devices is something that sometimes gets a bit overlooked. Yeah. We're seeing a heightened awareness of security in general, but also cyber security, because as more of us work from home and those endpoints potentially become a bit more vulnerable. Yes. Companies are talking to us about, well, what can we do to secure those endpoints? And we work with a number of providers and partners that help. Bizarre, really. Just before I came onto this call with you, I was looking at the BBC website and I saw that EasyJet were the latest casualty to announce that they've lost something like 9 million customer records, or they had 9 million customer records hacked into. So look, it's all around us, and probably you, like I've received so many different emails over the past few weeks telling me that I've got a tax rebate coming. I've won the calls. I think I've won just about everything over the past few weeks. But
clever.
All of them are fraudulent scams. We know that.
They're very clever.
It's important to make sure that you don't get hit and you don't leave yourself vulnerable.
Definitely. I think the only time we're not clever when they send an email pretending to be me to send it to me. That's the only point where it doesn't really work. I think you answered this question as well. Have you helped your clients? I think what I really like as well about ethos and knowing you is that you are not waiting for things to happen. You're always very reactive, responsive, proactive in your approach. And I think, as you say, we are aware that the new office operation will change and people will look for flexibility. And having the solutions in place is super key. I don't know if there's anything else that you want to add to that.
Yeah, I'd also add that we've got a good team, a really good team of people. The business has stayed on track because of the strength of the team, the individuals involved, the way they've pulled together. They have made sure that our clients have been kept informed and that the clients know that we're there. Services have been maintained, and we've we've communicated with newsletters and updates. We didn't want to bombard people and send them an offer every day because, again, inboxes are filling up all the time. We've tried to keep it summarised, we try to keep it concise, but we absolutely want our clients to know that we're there. We haven't gone away, and if they need us, we're there to help. And as you said, or I said earlier on, it's helping them to split between home and office. I had a customer last night wanted chairs sending to their senior management team to work from home, and they've gone out today. So it's being there, it's being responsive, and it's making sure the customers know that we're there for them.
Yes, and again, as we discussed before, if you guys are watching it from my previous episode, people really drive the business, and that's very important to have a team that really connected and are able to really support and understand the vision of the company. And I think that's one thing that ethos I really like, I've always done. Post COVID-19, something that we can learn based on the things that we already discussed. Anything else?
I think we're going to return to the same theme, but it's don't be complacent.
No.
It's when you say that can't possibly happen, as those words tumble out of your mouth when you talk about particular scenarios, think long and hard about what you've just said. Could it happen? We're very fortunate. We have a gentleman that works with our senior management team who's had an excellent career in the military, and he's always sat us down and coached us as to say, look, if it all went wrong, what would you do? Yeah. So prior to COVID, we were having those kind of conversations as a management team. And he would challenge us as to really think through what could you drop tomorrow and what is essential to keep the business going. But, we didn't have any insight into COVID any more than anybody else did. So I'm not claiming that we're some bunch of geniuses here. I'm just saying that, as an exercise, we were thinking about what happens if the worst happens. We don't want to turn ourselves into negative pessimists. That's not the objective here, but very much maintain the thought process that things outside of our control might happen, and then what do we do about it, and how do we control the bits that we can control to do the best that we possibly can.
Definitely. I think crisis management needs to be reviewed by everybody right now. If you have done something so little, or he hasn't been touched for the last 3 years or even a year or 6 months, it needs to definitely be reviewed after the situation. I think, as your business coming with situation, as you explain it, people have, you guys were very, forward, to say, thinking ahead, the situation, you put a lot of things in place. I can see how much you love your football. I think that Tony made me sleep in the cold one day for charity.
I think all of my team who've been on Zoom calls and what have you are sick and tired of seeing my shirts. I think they really think I should take them back and place it in cerebral. But, it is what it is. I am what I am.
So despite what you already say, is anything else that you put in place that people can learn from in terms of managing your team remotely?
I think also the thing that we've really tried to do, like a lot of businesses, we have taken we've utilised the furlough scheme. I think that was important for all of us, but we've made sure that we've kept in touch with everybody who is on that scheme to make sure they still feel very much part of the team.
Yes.
We don't want them feeling isolated. We don't want them feeling like they're drifting away from us, because they're not. And that kind of human touch and keeping in touch with the people that we work with and colleagues has been very important to us as well.
That is so important, and for me, I take it for granted that it's normal for me to let them know that this is what we're doing, what here, and giving this information. But it's okay. It makes a big difference. Fun keeps ringing. I don't know why, but yes, it makes a big difference in making sure that they understand why, even if they're left or maybe they're on pause for now, they're still part of the company. And I think that's really important. People really pay attention to that. That's really important. Mm-hmm. Last question before we wrap this up. What did you learn working with Three Colors Wool?
What do I learn? I learn every day. Every time I speak to you for dinner, I learn something.
Yes.
Listen, I think the thing I learned with you guys is that you're always flexible and you're always able to adapt. Whatever I see, whatever you're up to, you're making the best of the situation you find yourself.
Yes, such as a phone.
You've got orders coming through. You need to say,
but someone's gonna pick it up, not me. There's something that's
yeah. I mean, working with you, you're like us. You're very flexible. You're very agile, and you adapt to the situation you find yourself in. So you're kind of on the same page from that point of view, I think, or we're all on that same page.
Good, good. Is anybody wanting to get in touch with you? I think, as you mentioned, you have a lot of great services for office solutions to help people stay resilient. What's the best way to get in touch with Ethos?
You'll find me on LinkedIn. So Tony Collard at Ethos. Very straightforward. Yeah. And our website is www.ethos.co.uk.
Perfect. So, I'll put the link as well.
Drop us a line either through LinkedIn or the website, and we'll do whatever we can to help.
Fantastic. Tony, it's been so great to have you, and you've been a great help. Again, for me as well, as I mentioned before, if you want a free brand assessment, really figure out opportunities that you may be missing out with your brand, or just business tactics that I can share with you, please feel free to visit freecolorswood.com, and we'll be here to help you. Tony, it was a pleasure to have you. You've been a great host.
Great to see you, Fabiola. Thank you. Take good care.
Thank you. Bye, people. Bye.